Welcome to the Solid Verbal. And now, Dan and Ty.
Dan Rubenstein, the 2025 college football season at long last is upon us. Good sir, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I couldn't be better, Ty. I could not be better. The season. We are about to start 5 straight days of college football. Not all day, of course, but we have Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and I think afternoon and Monday evening as well. There are 30,000 narratives that are finally going to see the light of day. I am so excited, Ty. I don't know if you want a nickname now. I don't know if you want a nickname later. I have a lot of thoughts, and I kind of just want to, if you will, grant me this. I kind of want to talk.
Half of the show is yours, so sure,
That's
go
true.
for it.
At least, very least half. I want to talk about waiting, Ty.
Waiting.
What have we been doing since the national championship game? Essentially, we've been waiting. We've been waiting to see how rosters would shake out, how transfers would shake out, how coaching movement would shake out, spring football, summer moves, fall camp, lines, predictions. Everything that happens over the course of an offseason really is an exercise in waiting for now. We are waiting to see what will happen. We're keeping our eyes peeled on what's going to happen. And it's a lot of teams taking chances with their rosters, with their coaching moves, with their schemes, with their scheduling. It's a lot of chance taking.
You take a chance getting up in the morning, crossing the street, or sticking your face in a fan.
It always is. It always is. But we're waiting. And I'm waiting no longer, Ty, because welcome everybody to Stakeout Saturday, things are happening.
You take a chance getting up in the morning, crossing the street, or sticking your face in a fan.
Sticking your face in a fan. Beautiful.
Thank you very much. Leslie Nielsen, Naked Gun. I think that was from 2.5, if I'm going to be accurate here. Pretty good.
Stakeout Saturday. Well, look, wonderful name.
Thank you.
Off to a hot start here.
Thank you.
In week 1. In terms of what we are talking about here to help you get ready for Stakeout Saturday, we've obviously got a bunch of previews ahead of us. We did some of them on Tuesday. We'll revisit parts of those as we go through the course of the next hour and 15 or so. Going to take a look at some of the under-the-radar games that maybe aren't getting enough love. Of course, we have sort of our public service announcement section of this episode coming up in a little bit here with windows of opportunities. We'll talk about quads later. We'll get into all of the usual stuff that keeps people coming back for more. And at the very top, we're going to at least, put our heads together more on the topic of waiting and thinking and ingesting all of these narratives throughout the course of the offseason. Going to take a quick run through which teams have the most to prove.
Yes.
In week 1, which is, I think, a very, very important angle that needs to be discussed a little bit further.
And you might be asking yourself, proof to whom exactly? These two super handsome dorks? And the answer to that question is, yeah, absolutely. This is
absolutely.
Oh, we got to do a segment. Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you're new here, hit follow, hit subscribe. I will give more details as we go through the course of this episode, how you can get in our big run the board pick'em game. Every half second, my phone is throwing a notification that somebody new is joining the game, is signing up at verballers.com. We are thrilled with the influx of new community members who have decided to join and support the show. I will give you all the details on that as we go through this episode, but I don't want to burn any more time. I know people are here to listen.
And there's a grouping of people not afraid to compete, Ty.
It's a group of people
we know
not
it.
afraid to compete. I don't want to burn any more time.
Yeah.
I want to get into the meat of this here episode. Just know, if you do sign up for a paid tier at verballers.com, in week 1, you're playing for a $500 Visa gift card just by picking against the spread 10 games.
Sure.
$5
a lot of tacos.
to win 500. That's a move that I would probably make.
You could go all out throwing a watch party or tailgate in week 2 just by picking game 1 super well. No brainer to me.
Hit follow, hit subscribe. Again, if you are new here, we'd love to have you aboard. Even if you're not signing up at verballers.com, every little bit helps. We are getting oh so close to 25,000 subscribers out on YouTube, which would be a nice number to hit here. I think we're going to hit it before long, but if you are number 25,000 on the nose, give us a holler at solidverbal@gmail.com.
That would be cool. That would be very cool. Where are we going?
Dan, let's talk through who's got to prove what here in week 1.
In this lifetime, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody except yourself.
Okay.
What do you think of that sound that I made?
I hate it. Sound to my marrow. What is the musical choice there?
I don't know. I went on the YouTube free library. I realized we didn't have a sound for this 10 minutes before we hit go.
So did you look up avant-garde experimental jazz? And did you choose from a list of what was that? Okay.
It's a horn.
In this lifetime, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody
I hate it.
except yourself.
I love the quote. I love the soundbite, but it's buried underneath horror. What is that? Okay.
I had another one that you hated more.
I
which had
do.
The Dr. Mario theme underneath it. We can evolve this over the course of time.
Mario.
And thank you. And as we've had many people do in the past with some of our other sounds, if you would like to make a prove it sound or your version of a prove it sound, keep it under 10 seconds. Send it to solidverbal@gmail.com. If we get a bunch, we'll play our favorites. All right.
I'm sorry if you were driving your care, as Ty would probably say, and you had to pull over because of what that was doing to your ears. It was horrible, Ty.
Fair enough, Dan.
Yeah.
Dan, who has to prove the most to you in week 1?
So I use this assignment to figure out not who has the most pressure on them or what is the most exciting national narrative, but rather who needs to prove that they are something that they haven't been very clearly. Who out there is saying, man, we haven't been able to figure this element of college football out, and now it's week 1, and now we're in a situation where it would be really nice if we could prove that we are this thing we want to be. I have number 1, Nebraska's offense.
Yeah.
So Nebraska's playing Cincinnati in Kansas City, yes? Neutral site.
Arrowhead, yep.
There will be a considerable amount of attention on this game. Not the biggest game of the weekend, but I think there's rightfully going to be a lot of attention on this game. They haven't been able to figure out an explosive offense during Matt Rule's time there. And because they're invested in Matt Rule, because they're invested in Dylan Raiola, because they're now invested in a couple new receivers that they hope bring some pop to the offense, because they're paying Dana Holgorsen, former high-profile coordinator and head coach, a bunch of money to run this offense now, I think there is an extremely large amount of pressure on this Nebraska team to figure out offense now. They're not paying for this program to be a Pinstripe Bowl team. All due respect to the Pinstripe Bowl. Arthur Avenue, shout it out. But I am positive that if this team shows what it has shown these past couple of years on offense, things are going to start collapsing in Lincoln. And so I think it has to be week 1. Show me. They showed it a little bit last year, the first half of that Colorado game, but it just sort of fizzled out pretty quickly. This needs to be an even bigger step forward for this offense. I think there's an immense amount of pressure on this offense to show a lot more. Yeah,
that game is Thursday, so tonight, as many people are listening to this, at 9 p.m. Apologies in advance to anybody listening to this on Saturday, but look, it still holds.
Yeah.
It still holds. Whether you're listening to this early or late, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of pressure on.
And I'll give you some
Nebraska to make it go.
I'll give you some quotes if it works out and if it doesn't work out, so you can pre-hear my reaction. You know what? Good for Nebraska, right? They really needed to show it, and they showed it, and that makes the Big Ten more exciting. That makes the ability to watch Nebraska football more exciting all season long. All right, that was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Now,
authentic.
Here's the other one. Man, you couldn't figure that out against Cincinnati? Cincinnati defense should be fine this year, but to come out that flat and unable to address what clearly needed to be addressed, I'm not saying they can't do it these next few weeks. That was pretty disappointing. Did I cover?
I think you're good.
Okay.
I think you're all set.
All right.
I think Miami has a lot to prove.
Give me something specific.
I think in particular, Mario Cristobal needs to prove that not only can he go out there in an advantageous spot, just having this Notre Dame game at home in week 1, and prove that he can win a game like this. But I think throughout the course of the season, he needs to prove that they're not going to have some of these brain farts, late game situations, not going to find themselves in a situation later in the year.
Yeah.
On the road at Pitt, lose a game like that could essentially kick them out of the playoffs. All of that is very forward-looking, but I think with respect to what we've got in week 1 here, they've got this Notre Dame game at home. Notre Dame comes into the state of Florida with a brand new quarterback. Again, it surprised some folks that they even named him starting quarterback, despite the fact that he had the name attached to him and that there was a lot of assumption in the Notre Dame world that it was always going to be CJ Carr. Miami's got a very, very good front. Miami's got a very, very good offensive line. Miami's got a seasoned quarterback. The offense might look different.
Yep.
But it's all there for them. And so if they find themselves in a close game situation against Notre Dame, which I think is likely, and I can talk through a little bit later, Miami has to prove that they're not going to fall victim to some of the stuff that's jumped up and gotten them in the past. They have to find a way to win this game. I think it means more to Miami than it does to Notre Dame.
Sure, that's all understandable. I have this, and more specifically the Miami defense, in one of my Dannerable mentions. It wasn't in my top 5, but specifically, like, I want to hear, it's Sean McDonough, I believe, doing this game.
McDonough and McElroy, yeah.
I want to hear third quarter, fourth quarter, if it's a tight game. I want to hear something along the lines of, like, crucial stop there for the Canes. Like, something where, like, good for Miami getting off the field when they needed to. Yeah. Something in that realm of, like, and Miami's defense started out pretty well last year when that Florida game was particularly impressive, but against Notre Dame, like, prove that you can make CJ Carr feel like a first-time starter in a hostile environment, right?
Yep.
That's what a team with Miami's hopes and aspirations should be doing to CJ Carr, and not a new look Notre Dame offense, but certainly a new look starting quarterback and what is going to be asked of him. I think Miami needs to prove they can do that.
Who else you got?
All right, number 2, I have LSU's defense being prepared for the task at hand.
Yeah.
So of all of the things on the field, we have a good handle on what Clemson's offense should be at its best and what Clemson's defense should be at its best, what LSU's offense should be at its best. LSU having to prove that, again, they've addressed what needs help on this defense and that they can actually come out and get off the field in a crucial situation. Like, I'm pretty aligned with that, although it's a more difficult task because LSU is on the road here. But Brian Kelly not winning those openers, LSU's defense, another year disappointing given what LSU's defense should be basically every year. I think there's a lot to prove from this LSU defense in week 1.
I can't believe we made it 3 items in and we haven't mentioned Florida State yet.
I don't even have them down here.
You don't think Florida State
has something to prove to you against Alabama in week 1?
I do, actually, yeah.
Okay.
I do, because, you know, this game, and again, we'll talk through this one a little bit more, but this game is like the ultimate contrast between where one program's at versus the other. Florida State tried the transfer thing before last season. It didn't work. Famously, it did not work, or infamously, I guess. This year they went out, they again took to the portal. And I think Mike Norvell just needs to prove that even if they find themselves a 2-touchdown dog at home against Alabama in a game that I think we all expect they're going to lose, and losing to Alabama, this version of Alabama certainly is not a black eye, but they need to prove pretty much right out of the chute that this is going to be an offense that feels like it's going somewhere, that the players that they have now added to this offense are going to make it better than it was a year ago, that Gus Malzahn coming up from UCF is going to make the offense better. I don't know if Florida State fans out there are expecting that there's going to be like a 3-point spread between these two teams when all is said and done, but I think what they are expecting and what they're hoping for is competency. There needs to be a base level competency on display that can just serve as like a proof of concept that when they play some of these other teams on the schedule, this is going to be a team that's prepared. It's going to be an offense that has some pop, and they're not going to find themselves in the same situation that they were in a year ago. So, again, totally separate from the result. We need to at least see and feel like this is going somewhere with Tom Castellanos, with Gus Malzahn, and with whatever version of this whole thing that Norvell's put together.
I see where you're coming from. It's not unreasonable. But here's the unreasonable part of what you said. Florida State didn't go 7-5 last year. Florida State didn't go 6-6 last year. When you go 2-10, you have basically nothing to prove against an excellent team. You have to prove something against Virginia.
Listen,
you have to prove something against Pitt.
If you're an annual 2-10 team, if that's always who you are,
buddy, same coach.
If that's always who you are,
sure,
then I think you can make the case that they don't have anything to prove. But this is a blue blood program. Okay, they're not used to going 2-10. That was very much, hopefully, a bug, not a feature. And so Mike Norvell's got a lot to prove. There's a reason that I think he's on the hot seat, and rightfully so, because what happened last year at Florida State is not acceptable. They need to get better in a hurry. He understood that assignment, but now he needs to prove that he can put this cast of characters together and actually get something more out of it. So we'll see. I think they've got a lot to prove.
You don't sprint out of comas, Ty. You ever see somebody do that?
No, I can't say I have.
So you got to prove that you're a 6-6 team. And I just don't think, for better or worse, whatever Florida State looks like against Alabama, it's not going to be in any sort of indictment or yes, if they beat Alabama, great. They have proven to me that they have done something extraordinary this offseason. But to ask them to sort of look competent after what they did last year, and there's new players in here, still the same head coach, same locker room, same practice fields. I don't know. It's more of a Pitt, Miami type situation. Not even Miami, Pitt and Virginia situation for Florida State. So I don't know. We disagree. My next
Give me one more.
I'll rifle through a bunch. Let's go with Jackson Arnold. Just Jackson Arnold.
Without saying, right?
Okay. Jackson Arnold. Obviously in a terrible situation with regard to offensive line injuries and receiver injuries and general offensive malaise and, emotional injuries incurred at Oklahoma. But this opportunity, and Baylor may have addressed situations successfully on its defense in the back half and defend the pass and give up fewer big plays. Jackson Arnold, from the jump, is expected to go on the road and prove that he is the guy to take Auburn to a level that we haven't seen under Hugh Freeze at Auburn. And that is finishing games, being boringly competent, not making huge mistakes in the passing game, in the red zone, third downs, whatever. That I think there's an enormous amount that Jackson Arnold and Auburn's offense need to prove this week, because it's only going to get more difficult with this schedule. So because of the shortcomings that he's had, some self-inflicted, some just situationally, I think Jackson Arnold and Auburn and this passing attack have a ton to prove against Baylor. And in this specific spot as well, which is also pre-Saturday, right? It's a Friday night game.
Right.
So I think there's a ton to prove there. My Dannerable mentions, by the way, I have A&M Pop against UTSA's not-so-great defense from last year. Texas picking up where they left off. Syracuse proving that they're more than just Kyle McCord covering up for defensive issues. Minnesota not playing a close week one. The shape of Colorado's offense needs to be obvious. Bryce Underwood processing power. I need to learn the NVIDIA, Intel, take your pick, qualities of Bryce Underwood against, I think, New Mexico. That's a prove it. Malik Murphy being a worthwhile investment for Oregon State. There's a ton here that I mean, we'll get to it in the preview, but I can't wait.
Why don't we wait no longer? Let's do picks if you're ready.
Ready.
Dan, Ty, help. I need picks of the week.
Feels good to hear it. It feels good.
We played it on one of our earlier shows, but this is when it really has the gravitas. So look, going out to verballers.com. Verballers.com is where you go to sign up if you want to get in on Run the Board. Run the Board is our pick'em game. You can play for a $500 Visa gift card in week one. If you play the full year through and finish in the top 5, you get a seat on the coveted board of trustees here at Solid Verbal headquarters. It's up to you at that point. Do you want to give Dan and I a vote of confidence? I suspect that depends on how the season goes. To our credit, we have unanimously gotten votes of confidence each time we have done this. But there's always room for a dissenting vote. If you're interested, verballers.com. If you're just interested in supporting our community, supporting what we do, You can sign up. You can also get access to ad-free episodes, bonus content, vote in the Verballer Top 12 poll every Sunday. We'll talk about that on the Tuesday episodes. Our premium tier is going to have an outsized influence on what we talk about. Every Tuesday, you get access to the Discord server and much, much more.
I love the idea of an activist board member that's like, all right, now
possible.
that I'm in, I got a lot to say.
My old company, we had an activist swoop in. They redid the whole thing. It was crazy.
Love it.
Verballers.com is where you can go if you want to support what Dan and I do. This is like our big push. This is the final time you will hear us talk about it before the game locks at noon on Saturday.
Yep.
So if you like what you hear, if you like us, if you want to support what we do, help us keep the lights on, help us keep pushing the envelope on what we can do.
Help us afford more T-shirts so that we don't always look the same on camera. Yeah.
And domains.
Yes. We do
domains. If you want a different sound, maybe for the Prove It thing at the top, I don't know. Verballers.com is where you can go to support. Dan, we talked about two of these on our last episode, but we can revisit them briefly because two of the three matchups this weekend between ranked teams are Texas at Ohio State, LSU at Clemson, Dan.
Yes.
Now, you and I differ on at least one of these. Notably, that is the Texas at Ohio State game.
Yeah.
Now, having given yourself maybe 48 hours to think it over, more or less confident in your pick of Ohio State?
Equally confident, not any more, not any less. I feel good about Ohio State. I think the defense is going to be quality. They're playing at home. The crowd is going to be frenzied at, a 4 a.m. kick local? They're doing 4 a.m.
Right.
No, I think Texas is going to be very good. The thing I'm most excited to see is if Texas just keeps belonging. You know, that Texas beat Alabama by 10, I want to say in week 2 years ago on the road. They beat the defending champs in Michigan on the road. Now they once again get this year's defending champs on the road. And they looked more than, ready to compete in those two games. Do they come out and just look at ease in the fire? I can't wait.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited to see what Texas looks like using Arch Manning's legs.
Okay.
And I gave a little bit of voice to this when we did the Texas preview and when we did the deeper dive, which you can go back and listen to on our Tuesday episode. I just feel like there were so many opportunities last year for hard yards down in the red zone where they just did not have that element.
Real tough in the red zone. Yeah.
Quinn Ewers being a scrambling quarterback. This is not to say that Arch is a scrambler. I don't think that's so much his pedigree, but he's definitely a lot fleeter of foot than, frankly, his uncles or than the predecessor at Texas and Quinn.
I feel like Archie could move, though. Maybe it's just a skip a generation type thing.
I didn't say his grandfather.
I know.
But definitely more fleet of foot than both Peyton and Eli.
For sure.
So I'm excited to see if they use that aspect of his game, if they use that in critical situations, if that is the kind of thing. I mean, it was sort of my whole theory of this game that they will find a way to utilize this to spring them for a big gain on a 3rd and long or a 3rd and crucial, and that will ultimately give them enough cover to win this game. I think I had it at 27-23, somewhere in that neighborhood.
So you're sticking with your big road pick in Texas.
With it, yeah.
The other headliner that we did our full preview for was LSU-Clemson. I feel just as good in this moment about my my Clemson pick.
I'm really excited to see what Clemson looks like, and I'm really excited to rejoin our community out there on the club level. I do need a club level sound if anybody's interested.
Okay.
solidverbal@gmail.com. This is the year. He's still there. He's finally growing into all of that hype that he came in with when he was recruited out of high school. We need to get the club level back together in a big way because I think this is a big year for Texas.
I believe Curtis 50 Cent Jackson has a hit.
Why did I say Texas? I think this is a big year for Texas native.
Yes. Oh, sure.
Kid Klubnik and the Clemson Tigers. I am excited to see if he takes a step forward as a passer.
Okay.
I think we saw that last year, but I think as the receiver room around him has continued to grow and improve and showcase why everybody was excited about them, we saw flashes of that. I think this could be a really big step forward. And frankly, if that happens, we're talking about Cade Klubnik in New York.
Sure.
That's what I'm most excited to see. And this is going to be a really good opportunity for that. Like, they might have to score 30-some points in order to beat LSU. So I'm curious to see. I'm excited to see what he looks like.
Most importantly, one of these down on their luck opening coaches has to win.
They do. Brian Kelly has never won an opener in his time at LSU.
And tough few years for Clemson and Dabo to open the season up. Yeah.
So I've got this one still at 34-31 Clemson. Again, go back on Tuesday and listen to the full deep dive of this one. But
so not covering, LSU covering.
No, I've got LSU plus the points.
Okay.
Right now it's Clemson -4 at time of recording. I've got a tight one here, but a fun game.
Next headliner.
Let's go ahead in time to Sunday night at 7:30 on ABC.
Yeah.
This game's at 7:30 Eastern. I'm going to be breathing into a paper bag around 2 p.m. Eastern in preparation for this one on Sunday night. It is Notre Dame -2.5 on the road at Miami. Crazy way to open up this game, open up this season with this game.
Yeah.
I am on the record stating that Notre Dame is the better team.
Okay.
And that they're going to win this game. I'm also on record saying that Miami is an 8-4 team. I am not backing down on either front.
Okay.
I can't at this point. I am too invested in both sides of that argument. I actually think that this one looks a lot like Notre Dame's game last year, their opener on the road at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of that game you remember. I don't know how much of that game the Verballerhood remembers.
I do. It was a lot of Riley Leonard in this offense sitting on a lead late.
6 of 25 combined on third downs between those two teams. We had 17 total penalties, 11 of which went against Notre Dame. Just 36 total points. The final score was 23-13. The score was tied until late in that game when Jeremiah Love broke one. So I think that's the kind of game that Notre Dame would like to play here. Like, for as much as everybody has talked about this quarterback contest at Notre Dame and how they're looking to get more pop out of the passing game, which is still very, very true, and I hope it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Freeman would be thrilled. He would be jumping up. He would be clicking his heels together if this devolved into a battle of defense and field position and time of possession and big, dumb Mario Cristobal football, frankly.
Mario.
Because I think if that's the way that this game goes, that's big time advantage Notre Dame.
Sure.
Now, unless they had CJ Carr out there throwing interceptions in the preseason as like some kind of propaganda thing, I don't know. I would expect that this game plan is going to be really conservative. It's going to be a lot of emphasis on Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. You get them going. You're somehow able to open it up a little bit down the field, maybe take a shot or two with Jaden Greathouse, Malachi Fields. I don't know. But I'm going to put the over-under at 22.5 for passing attempts for CJ Carr in this game.
Okay.
Because I think they're going to play it close to the vest. I think they're concerned about a back-breaking pick, some sort of freshman mistake. This should be a really good Miami defense. At a minimum, it's going to be a very good front. I think Notre Dame's going to do everything within its power to try and minimize the effect of a new full-time starting quarterback.
And I think Notre Dame respects the best of what Miami can look like up front in rushing the passer and attacking the run. I think there's a lot of good defensive linemen. They're pretty deep there. We'll see how successful they are, but in terms of raw talent and ceiling, I think Miami's going to, the front seven especially, is going to look quite good. We'll see if all these transfers work out. We see if a new defensive coordinator gels. And Corey Heatherman with Miami. I'm going to take Notre Dame here, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Okay.
But because of how Notre Dame looked in icing that Georgia game, in icing the Penn State game, and yes, they did not win a very crucial game against a MAC team mid-season, but because of how that Notre Dame team grew, if you're telling me that Notre Dame pretty clearly has the big game coach and defensive advantage in week one, I think it travels well enough. And what Notre Dame did on the road against Texas A&M last season as an opener, I think Miami's going to be really good this year. I think to ask them to arrive in week one, even with a home field advantage, But with a quarterback coming off of injury because of a new look receiving core, the offensive line should be great for Miami. But I think it's a tall ask in week 1 against Notre Dame. And I think Notre Dame will have a better ability to dictate, as you've mentioned already and alluded to, the rhythm of this game.
Right.
And so I think Miami has a great opportunity to win this game playing Notre Dame ball, right? Mario Cristobal wants to do that. He wants to push Notre Dame around up front with an experienced, very talented offensive line, good running back room, quarterback who can take advantage in play action. But I just think Notre Dame is better built for it completely. But again, if you're telling me the final score is 38-34, I'm going to take Miami.
I think that's fair.
They are better built right now with what they were able to do on offense last year with Carson Beck's experience. I think they are a team that can get to 35 faster, but I think Notre Dame is a team who can keep a team to 17 more effectively. So I have, what's the final spread as of this recording?
2.5. In
favor of
Notre Dame.
In favor of Notre Dame. Yeah, I'm going to give those points. I'm going to say 24-20 Notre Dame.
Yeah, and by the way, I think we're kind of along the same lines here.
I hate it.
I think the matchup that ultimately decides this one is exactly what you pointed out. It's Miami's offensive line against Notre Dame's defensive line.
Sure.
Because my theory all along has been that Miami has to look different on offense this year. They don't have Cam Ward. It's just a different style quarterback. And I expect them to look more like the Georgia offenses that we saw when Carson Beck was at Georgia.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's a perfect replica, but to your point, this is Mario Cristobal's default state. He wants to line you up. He wants to push you around. And I think he'd be wise to use his running back room this year because I do think they've got a lot of depth. It's new guys. It's not Damian Martinez anymore, but they've got enough depth back there to be pretty good. So I think it looks different. I think Carson Beck is pretty good. I'm lukewarm on him being the type of quarterback who can go out there and single-handedly win the game for you. I think that's something he needs to prove this year.
Sure.
My theory this year is that, especially in this game, Miami needs to establish a ground game. And I just think it's going to be tough sledding. So my theory of this one devolves into a defensive slugfest. I think we see a couple turnovers.
Okay.
One way or another. I think the difference, much like it was last year in a big spot, is Jeremiah Love just getting a sliver.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like we saw in the playoffs, Jaden Greathouse finding some space. I think Notre Dame plays it close. I think Notre Dame uses one of their playmakers. I think they get a big play in space to get enough separation. 26-21 Notre Dame wins on the road.
26-21. Okay. By the way, third and medium is going to be incredible when Miami has the ball.
Oh,
they were the best third down team in America, not just at avoiding 3 and out, but actually like their success rate on third down was incredible. So when they can't just count on 1.5 yards from a back, when they are going to have to make tougher choices on 3rd and 4 at midfield or in their own territory, to me, that's going to be everything.
We talked about this one a little bit at the top. This one is Saturday at 3:30 on ABC. It's Alabama minus 13.5 points. See my brows go up when I said that's a lot of points.
Sure.
13.5 points on the road at Florida State. Now, I think there's a chance here that Alabama's looking to make a statement. Because for as big of a disappointment as it might have been for Florida State, Alabama definitely internalized the fact that they did not make the college football playoff last year. And they internalized it to a great degree. They brought back a number of starters from last year's team who had the option to go pro, but decided they wanted to stick around here and see if they could do a little bit more at the college level. That's a credit to Kalen DeBoer. Another thing that's a credit to Kalen DeBoer is that he understood, again, that they needed to get better. They needed to figure out their offense to a greater degree, and he brought back Ryan Grubb. So I like that pairing. I like the fact that Alabama has an unusual amount back from last year's team, which was still pretty good. It just didn't fire on all cylinders. And I like the fact that they're catching Florida State at this moment.
Yeah.
This is the right time to catch Florida State. Now, I know we may not be crazy high in Florida State, but it's still a tough place to play. I got to believe they're going to be better. And if this is a very big if they are able to put an offense together, if they are able to realize all the upside of Tommy Castellanos, then at some point down the stretch, this could be a team that's a tough out because there still is a lot of talent on Florida State. I just think this is the right time. There is no chance with all that they have new, it's suddenly going to click at home week 1 against a top 5 team. I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm searching for reasons to take Florida State. And I feel good about Florida State maybe scoring an early touchdown, and it's 7-3 after the first quarter. Florida State's up, and then it goes haywire. But, yeah, over the course of 4 quarters with what the ceiling of this Alabama defense should be, with if we're going to assume Ty Simpson is ready to just hit that throttle hard, then there's every reason to think that this is a 34-10 game. Alabama wins. I'm not there with Ty Simpson yet. There was something to me about like he's competing against a true freshman and a guy who hasn't played any meaningful snaps, and like the competition went deep into fall. Like, no, maybe he's just pretty good, but not amazing. I still like you have to have faith in Florida State after going 2-10 that they've dramatically gotten better. I think the defense will be more organized with Tony White. I think the offense will have a different vision. I don't know if it's a better vision with Gus Malzahn. I don't know about hiring this version of Gus Malzahn in 2025 as like a big fix, but there will be a plan. And so I think early on Florida State will look like they have that plan. Over 4 quarters, I think Alabama's 3 touchdowns better. So I'm going to give those points. Really searched, but I'm not there.
I'm just really drawn to the contrast between these two schools right now.
Sure.
Because Alabama, like I said, internalized a lot. Almost a little bit of zombie Alabama, if you think about it.
Sure.
A little bit of taste in their own blood after what went down last year, now coming into this new season loaded for bear. And on like the Florida State side, they basically unplugged the router for 30 seconds. They unplugged it. They let it cycle through. They plugged it back in. And this is what you have now.
Yeah.
This is what it is in 2025. I'm excited to see how they use Tommy Castellanos. I hope we can start calling him Big Tom Callahan again like I did in the
Tommy
previews.
C. Yeah.
But I've got real questions about this being the dude. If quarterback was an issue last year with DJU, I know Tommy Castellanos here talks a good game, but he had a propensity to kind of dance around in the pocket and take a drive-killing sack or commit a big turnover or something that will not serve Florida State well. It did not serve him well at Boston College. Even though he's athletic, he's fun to watch, he can make plays, all that. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure about that. So, like, bigger picture, it's going to be really interesting to see how this transfer class looks for the Noles if it pops more than it did a year ago. They're basically doubling down on the approach.
I agree. If he's not the guy for Boston College,
right?
Why is he the guy for Florida State? And we've seen guys get benched before and come back strong. I watched it with Bo Nix, got benched at Auburn, came back strong at Auburn, came back much stronger at Oregon. Like, it happens. But those two programs are sort of on par.
I would love nothing more than to do our show on Saturday night at midnight. By the way, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can watch the Saturday night live stream if you're interested as we talk through all of these games.
SmellTiesHair.com, right?
We can link SmellTiesHair.com back up.
Okay,
yes. We have all these domains. We got to do something with them.
I know.
I would love nothing more than to talk about this one as a close game, a fun game, where Florida State got it together and the crowd got into it. And I've got it at 35-17 Alabama.
Okay. So right around the same place.
They cover going away.
Yep.
Let's go to Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
Virginia Tech at South Kakalaki.
Sneaky fun.
South Carolina favored by 8 points. Where are you at here? Where are you at in this game?
I had to prove it, Dannerable mention that Virginia Tech, with the way they've started the last 3 seasons, so that I think is losing to Old Dominion and then losing to like Purdue, Marshall, Rutgers, I think Vanderbilt last year, which was that's a defensible loss with how Vanderbilt's season went. But in the moment, it probably did not feel super fun for Virginia Tech fans. So Virginia Tech and Brent Pry have a lot to prove in a game. I believe this is a neutral site, right?
Neutral site game, playing it in Atlanta.
They have a ton to prove, Virginia Tech to me. I think I'm going to go South Carolina here. If you're giving me a quarterback advantage, a momentum advantage, and as much as anybody can have momentum in week one, but program momentum, the best of this defense with a lot of unproven full-time guys, I just think culturally South Carolina is in a better place to come out and win this game. And they haven't been the best September team either, for sure. But I just think there's more to like in this moment about South Carolina on the road. So I'm going to need to see it before I believe it from Virginia Tech still in this moment.
So this is like the Beamer Bowl, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Yep.
This is one of those season openers where I feel real weird about taking chalk. And the more I thought about this, it's like everyone's talking about Lenora Sellers. Lenora's the creator.
Yeah.
Dylan Stewart, who I love, might be the best pass rusher in the country. South Carolina finished strong. They do have that momentum, 6-game winning streak. But I think I've come around to the idea of Virginia Tech covering and maybe even pulling an upset here. And I can tell you why.
Okay.
I think South Carolina is going to have some growing pains on defense.
I agree.
Like, you lose Kyle Kennard, it's not easy to backfill. All 4 interior linemen.
Lost
3
an All-American
linebackers.
caliber safety, yeah.
There's a lot that's missing. You're basically asking a bunch of new faces, albeit very talented new faces, who are not entirely new. Like, they have played, granted, but you're asking these guys to step up, take on more responsibility in a big week 1 neutral site game against a team that you know is looking to prove something on its own accord.
Yeah.
This is a team in Virginia Tech that I think should be significantly improved. It was not a bad team from a year ago, and that's the thing that I think is missing from much of the commentary I've heard. Did they underperform? Yes, but it wasn't a bad team. They were just very inconsistent, and they had injury luck that went against them. Basically, like Auburn North, okay? In some way, shape, or form. They just could not translate production into wins. They had trouble in close game situations. They couldn't stay healthy. Those 3 things will kill pretty much any team.
So you're going with Virginia Tech, a team who starts poorly and does not finish close games well.
I am. Actually, yeah. I am. And I can't explain why. I mean, I'm trying to explain why. But I just think Kyron Drones back and healthy, a revamped roster, a new offensive coordinator who should get more out of the quarterback position. They did pick up Terrian Stewart from Bowling Green, the running back who I love. But he was seen in a walking boot last week. I don't know his status at time of
That's
recording.
super helpful before a football game, right?
It's not ideal.
Yeah.
I hope he's able to go. I think he could have a real impact here.
Okay.
The matchup that you got to watch here is the Tech offensive line, which is rebuilt, the South Carolina front 7, which also has a bunch of new faces. I think we could be on track here for a South Carolina Freducation from Fred Johnson, the linebacker, if they show out on defense. But I don't know. This one was kind of giving me the willies. Like, I think Carolina wins. I think it's a slugfest. And I think it's something like 24-20 South Carolina wins, but Virginia Tech keeps it close. I would not be surprised if we come on the air Saturday night and Virginia Tech wins in an upset.
Yeah, Virginia Tech losing this one. 33-24, South Carolina.
Let's go to another one. Syracuse at Tennessee. Another neutral site game. This one's on Saturday at high noon.
Yeah.
Tennessee favored by 13.5. How confident are you in Tennessee winning this game and covering?
It's a big number.
Yeah. A lot of new on Tennessee, right? At least on the offensive side.
I'm not super confident in them covering. I think Tennessee wins this game because I still think the best thing in this game should be Tennessee's defense. But I'm not confident in that number. You're talking about a lot new on this Tennessee offense, including Joey Aguilar.
That's right.
I think even if so, what you're saying is if you're setting this line to get action on both ways, but if you think this is about where this game lands, what you're saying is Tennessee should get to 30-ish points against Syracuse because the Syracuse offense, if Steve Angeli is quality, which I think we think he is, it's all just a guessing game in week 1, really, more than anything. I just don't think they get to that number. So I think it's something like 27-20 Tennessee, 24-17 Tennessee. So I have Syracuse covering this game, but Tennessee winning just because I think there's going to need there needs to be a little bit of time for Tennessee to get its act together, gelling on offense. So
okay.
I don't love the Syracuse defense and where it was last year and where it looks like it's going to be, albeit improved this year. I don't love the ability for Syracuse to continue what it was doing on offense with Steve Angeli. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be decent. But no, that number is still too big for me. So Syracuse keeps it close enough.
Tennessee lock of the week.
Wow.
Lock of the week.
Limb from limb then.
Yeah. The matchup to watch here is Tennessee's defensive front against Syracuse, which has a rebuilt offensive line. I think the Vols get pressure. I think they change up Steve Angeli's timer. In his limited action, we saw moments where he was like slow to process, where he took a sack, he made a bad decision. Again, very limited sample size, but I think this is a kind of game where that could be a factor here.
Yeah.
I feel very confident about laying the points here because everyone's talking up Tennessee like new quarterback, Joey Aguilar, but truly this is a story of defense, and that defense is loaded.
It should be very good.
Loaded. And the other thing on the Syracuse side, and I did get some pushback to this, I stand by what I said. Cuse lost a ton. They might be worse at every offensive position this year.
Okay.
It's just a really tough ask to expect them to just click in week one against one of the better defenses in the country. And their defense, too. They lost a bunch. 7 of their top 10 tacklers are gone from a year ago. I think they're going to get pushed around by Tennessee up front.
By the way, you know who else rebuilt their offensive line? Tennessee.
I know they did, but I just like their talent better. And I think when you contrast that with Syracuse also losing a ton on defense, the meat of this Tennessee offense, in my view, is still in the running game.
Yeah.
All right. Whether or not they're rebuilding their line, it's a very, very deep group of running backs, and I think they're going to be solid. I also would not put it past Joey Aguilar to actually end up being better than Nico was a year ago.
Which Tennessee fans will tell you is not a terribly high bar, but yeah.
It may not be a high bar, but for as much as people are talking up Aguilar and new quarterback, and we'll see, and everybody expects to step back from Tennessee, and I do think we will see a step back because the line is concerning as they get a little deeper into this thing.
Sure.
Not in this one. Not in this one. I think the favorite pulls away. I think it's a second half game where we see Tennessee start to show what it's made of, show where that talent gap is. 41-17, Tennessee wins going away here.
So you're not just in love with Tennessee here. You're doing ghost-style pottery with, with Tennessee.
A little bit.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Also, to be fair, you know who else has rebuilt their offensive line? 119 teams. Everybody's rebuilding their offensive line outside of like Texas A&M and Alabama. Yeah.
And Notre Dame and Penn State. Yeah.
I know there's a handful, but like this is where we are as a society right now. Everybody's got offensive line questions.
We're going to talk about some under the radar games here in a moment, rip through them. But one that's, I think, a pretty significant non-con game, and it's weird to call it a non-con game, mind you.
Sure.
Hasn't been talked about at all. 11 p.m., old school Pac-12 after dark on Fox, Utah -6 on the road at UCLA.
This is a great one. Yeah.
Does that line surprise you at all?
No, UCLA's talent level is not great in this moment, and their roster's not great dealing with coaching turnover. It's tough to see. Even if Nico gets closer at UCLA than he was at Tennessee, real unlikely, but closer to what we perceived his ability and ceiling would be. Who's he throwing to? Who's he handing off to? Who's he protected by? Who is bolstering everything he does defensively? That to me is weird. Utah, they're getting a little bit of respect here because of the mysterious nature of their offense with Devin Dampier and was it Jason Beck now calling the offense. They're like doing the mini Kitleization of their offense coming up from New Mexico. The Kitlization? No? Yes.
We could call it that. We can call it an Arbuckling.
Well, Arbuckle he's a branch on the Kitley tree.
Right. Well, this is true. And it's a big tree because Zach Kitley is 6'7".
That's true. It's a mighty redwood. I think this is a fascinating game. Absolutely fascinating game for Utah specifically. This is at UCLA, right?
at UCLA.
So they're road favorites. I don't think the environment's going to be that crazy because it basically never is in the Rose Bowl for this team. Yeah, I like Utah here, but a fascinating matchup for sure to see if, stage one of Utah's journey goes well.
Yeah, I mean, on the UCLA side, Nico's going to dominate headlines. I think he's one of the only upgrades on this team. And I know that there was some chatter about, well, he wants to go somewhere where he can get a better supporting cast or maybe just more money. I don't know. This is not a better supporting cast. It's a largely unproven cast of characters on offense, and it's a rebuilding defense. So you combine that with the fact that Utah is going to have one of the better offensive lines in the country. They've got that coordinator quarterback tandem, which should hopefully speed things up. I think it's notable that Kyle Whittingham is going to give Jason Beck, quote, complete autonomy to run his version of his system.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's a good situation. It's not so much a guy learning a new system. He's going to have new people around him.
Right.
But this is a proven now combination of guys getting a chance to cook at a little bit of a higher level, which I like.
Yeah. It just sort of goes against everything we've believed Utah football to be over time. I don't know.
I know.
But you got to evolve, I guess. That's fine.
But they're much more proven. And at this stage of the game, that's really all we have to go on. I like their line. I like the quarterback offensive coordinator pairing. I like Wayshawn Parker, who's another name.
Yeah, of course.
Running back comes down from Wazoo. Feels like one of those to me where the veteran team with the continuity finds a way to take care of business. 28-17. Utah covers.
It's a lot of points for Utah lately. Okay. Yeah, I have Utah covering, but it's a mystery cover. We've gone 50 some odd minutes without talking about Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Or excuse me.
Not talking about this.
Hulu and Instagram present the University of North Carolina football at Chapel Hill. Yeah.
8 p.m. ESPN on Fox. TCU -3 against North Carolina. How the F are we supposed to handicap this?
No, there's no way. It's just like, hey, I'm interested in this TV show.
I'm interested in the TV show, very much so, because I think the Bill Belichick story is going to be crazy fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
We have no idea what to expect there. And TCU, we both like TCU. TCU's got a brutal schedule, but TCU's got a great offense. Got to get better on defense. Many of the same questions that we ask about every Sonny Dykes team. Random shootout here? I kind of think it's 37-31. Somebody wins.
I think TCU comfortably wins this game. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement. To assume 2013 Bill Belichick with the roster he had with the New England Patriots when they were rolling is going to use that same pixie dust in week 1 against TCU might not be great, but a power conference 8-4 type team. I just don't think North Carolina's there. And maybe they get to an interesting place this season, and I think there's going to be an electric atmosphere early on, but I still think you need the players. I think TCU has its act together, and North Carolina doesn't even know what its act is. So, yeah, I have TCU, in my mind, doing something like 31-17 here.
I think it's going to be a random shootout.
Okay.
I am believing the hype. I think North Carolina will be better, maybe not right away, but I think they'll be better at least on defense as the season goes on. And I think it's an advantageous schedule. So this could be a situation where you look at the final record and they're maybe not as good as the record would indicate, but I'm going to give Belichick the benefit of the doubt. 37-31, TCU wins, but Carolina is surprisingly feisty.
Okay.
In this week 1 game.
We disagree.
We do disagree. Look, I'm not going to go back through. We talked about all of the earlier games this week.
Yes.
On the Tuesday episode. So, like Auburn, Baylor is super interesting. Georgia Tech, Colorado. We talked about that one again here a little bit on this episode. But Boise State playing on the road at South Florida, Nebraska, Cincinnati. A bunch of these early week games are a ton of fun. Go back and listen to the Tuesday episode if you are ever so inclined, because we went into a lot more detail on those games then.
Agree.
For those of you wondering out there, given all of these big games, when can I go out and just do something with the family? We have a segment for you on the show called Window of Opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a good slate of games this week, Dan. It is very evenly distributed. Whoever was in charge of putting this schedule together, hit us up, solidverbal@gmail.com. Dan and I need help organizing our lives. Please.
True.
We need this. The goal of the Window of Opportunity is to figure out when you can safely leave the house, step away from the TV without missing too much of the action on a college football Saturday. If you are listening for this segment with anticipation like you would a weather forecast, that is squarely on you. You had months to get ready for Labor Day weekend. I can't save you if you're listening to this gritting your teeth.
Right.
That's on you. But if you're out there, if you're wondering when can I step away, we are solutions oriented.
Yeah.
You got to do it. I'm targeting somewhere between 4 and 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
I think that's your window to go to dinner.
Early bird.
The kids at Chuck E. Cheese. Is Chuck E. Cheese still a thing?
I think it's still a thing. People
Not a
get in
sponsor,
fights at
could
Chuck
be.
E. Cheese all the time.
If you're one of our German listeners, there are good tickets still available to catch the famed Broadway show Cats, which is doing an international tour right now in Berlin.
Okay.
A lot of tickets available.
So grab some donor, go see Cats. Sure.
Go see Cats, whatever you're into. A bunch of games in that block with big point spreads.
Yeah.
So you can play catch up afterwards, but no later than 8 p.m. Eastern time because I think you're going to want to see some of these nights.
I've got the premiere of the 2025 Oregon Ducks season right in there against Montana State. Very, very good FCS program right now. Oregon favored by, I think, nearly 30 points. But Oregon should win. I feel good.
All right, let's put a bow on this one. Let's talk about some under-the-radar games.
Please.
I got a couple here that I'm interested in.
Tell me.
Saturday high noon, Mississippi State minus 13.5 on the road against Southern Miss.
Yeah.
So Mississippi State goes really hard in the portal. They definitely made the roster better. But Southern Miss did a little bit of a hold my beer moment, did they not?
They absolutely did.
They brought down basically the championship roster from Marshall along with Charles Huff. And they're at home in this matchup. I'm taking the points. Would not be surprised by an upset.
Wow. No belief in Blake Shapen. Coming on back.
Saturday at 12:45, SEC Network. Toledo at Kentucky, Dan. Kentucky favored by 17, 27, 37. Clearly they're playing a MAC team. 7.5 points is the spread.
Yeah, I like that.
There's always one of these token MAC games early in the year. Where's my button?
Not talking about this.
That scares the bejesus out of a Power 4 school.
Right.
I think Kentucky's a mess.
I don't know, man. Okay.
They're a mess.
Okay.
And Toledo is actually quite good.
Yeah.
Toledo
and to be
plus
fair,
the
there's
points.
always a MAC team who loses by 38.
Always one of those
like
teams,
this.
too.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Toledo plus the points here on the road in Kentucky.
Yeah. So the way I'm looking at these under the radar games is I'm galloping onto the Zesty Ranch. We did a Zesty Ranch show a few years ago.
Yep.
I'm looking for teams just to show me something. And like Mississippi State is a good example of that. Show me that zest. I know the defense probably is going to take a minute, but show me some zest on that offense. Northwestern Tulane. Tulane gets their starting quarterback late in the process with Jake Retzlaff, and Northwestern trying through the portal even more. They're my local team here, so I'm always curious about that. That's in that noon window as well on ESPNU. Tulane favored by 4.5 at home. I'm looking for zestiness there, especially from Northwestern, but just in general as well.
I've got Cal at Oregon State Saturday night.
Oh, that's super zesty. Yep.
Oregon State -2. Catastrophically bad Oregon State defense last year.
Yeah, they were beat up like crazy. I'm giving you, take a moment. Just take that pillowy breath right now and tell everybody the name of Cal's starting quarterback. True freshman, making a road start against Malik Murphy, new starting quarterback for Oregon State.
2 A's, Malik.
2 A's, Malik. Someone to prove there, I guess, from Oregon State that investment was worthwhile. Cal is starting a true freshman quarterback. Used to be a Pac-12 matchup, Cal, Oregon State. Now
Cal went to Jaron.
Cal did not go to Devin White.
They went to Jaron.
They went to Jaron. Oh, that's pretty good, Ty. I like that. It also takes you away from pronouncing the following 414 letters correctly.
Listen, I am the best in college football media at pronouncing this one. Maybe second only to our friend Brandon Huffman, who listens to the show.
Right, and knows him and his family.
And knows him. It's Jaron Keave Songapulatele.
There it is.
That is how you say it. I practiced it 1,000 times in front of the mirror, Brandon.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why.
That was your rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain.
Kate thought I was nuts down here. She's like, what are you doing? Jaron Keave Songapulatele. That's how you say it.
Yeah.
Really bad Oregon State defense a year ago. Cal's going to Jaron. They're winning this one outright.
Wow.
True freshman quarterback. I think he makes a mark. I'm excited about this one. A couple other ones here under the radar. Very quickly.
Yeah.
UNLV. Remember I talked about that point spread on our last episode? They were favored by 13 on the road at Sam Houston. It's down to 10. I liked Sam Houston at 13. I still like him at 10. What the hell? Why not? UNLV, no defense. 555 yards to Idaho State. Didn't like that. Didn't like that at all. Also, Friday night, Western Michigan at Michigan State. It's early. It's the Michigan State Championship game, part 1.
Wow.
I think Western's going to be fun this year. I think Michigan State is going to blow the doors off of them in this matchup. I like Sparty a lot. 2 more for you, okay? 2 more.
All right.
Just 2 more. I'm doing the sign of the horns here. Wake is going to beat Kennesaw State. This is more of a curiosity than anything else. Friday night, 7 p.m. ACC Network.
I like
Kennesaw is doing the thing where they switch from the option to any other offense, and that almost always goes poorly. But it can be fun to watch. It can be fun to watch. Going from an option to an up-tempo spread is very difficult to do. I feel like Clay Helton actually had a lot of success with this at Georgia Southern.
Right.
So you combine that with the fact that Wake Forest is starting our old friend Robbie Ashford, still in college football. Honestly, still a bit underwhelming. They are favored by 18 points at home against Kennesaw. They will win, but there are interesting things to watch there, Dan.
I agree.
And last but not least, for me, Thursday night, 8 p.m., Fox Sports 1, Buffalo at Minnesota.
Okay.
I already pre-scheduled the Minnesota Zoom call for December when we're all going to gather and be disappointed together that it didn't go better for Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see Drake Lindsey. Drake Lindsey is now my Minnesota quarterback that I am all in on. By the way, Max Brosber made the team for the Vikings. I don't know if you saw that.
Local boy.
Had a really good preseason with the Vikings. So Bros Before Knows, I have not yet come up with my Drake Lindsey nickname. I'm still workshopping that, but these are my.
I mean, you have the word Drake to go with, a huge international musical artist. Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Okay.
Those are my under the radar games.
I think UTSA Texas A&M is fascinating. UTSA had a catastrophically bad defense preventing big plays, and A&M had a very difficult time generating those big plays. So in terms of prove it, I think I'm there with Texas A&M, which has every opportunity, especially when we talked about this, like slowly crock-potting a team with two good running backs, a really good offensive line, should open things up in play action for Marcel Reed. So hopefully it's an opportunity for UTSA offensively to see what they are and are not. They struggled with Arch last year on defense, so I think that's pretty fascinating. How about deep below the radar, South Dakota on the road against Iowa State in a huge letdown spot for the Clones? South Dakota, a really good season last year.
Yeah.
A lot different, but I wouldn't put it, past Matt Campbell and Iowa State in a letdown spot in early September to struggle. I don't know if they're losing this game, but yeah, they won 13-10, and that's good enough to go 2-0. That to me is interesting. I'm trying to think if there's anything else below the radar here. I mean, I'm always going to watch Oregon, but I think those are the ones that really stood out to me. Oh, the other one, we mentioned this on the earlier show, but it's worth mentioning once again. App State and Charlotte with two high, not high profile, but very interesting new head coaching situations, I think is worthwhile.
Yeah, and Dal Loggins, who's the coach for App State, has not tried to temper expectations at all. Some coaches come in and do that, but there is just like a lot new. App State's one of those teams where there's so much new, much like another team in North Carolina, where you kind of don't know what to expect.
Agree.
And the other North Carolina team in this one, Charlotte, also has a new coach, came down from Ohio. I'm on App State minus the number, but I think this could be a weird game.
Yeah. The only other request I have, Ty, get that finger ready, Ty. Get that finger ready. Get those digits ready. Just a personal favor if you could drop that big, stanky, surging, sumptuous, shaking drum and fife.
Oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby. We've got a loaded slate of Pat League games, Dan. Starts on Thursday night on ESPN Plus. Your Lafayette Leopards on the road at Bowling Green. Possible upset.
A lot of people are talking, Ty. Vegas does not know what to do with this line.
No. Is there a line, by the way?
Unclear.
I don't think they even put lines on these.
No, not usually.
I'm going Bowling Green.
Okay, so this is Eddie George's debut.
Yes.
With that surging, sumptuous, shaking drum and fife. Good luck, Mr. George. You do not know what is arriving down there in Bowling Green. Okay.
Friday, 7 p.m. ESPN Plus. Monmouth on the road at Colgate. The Gators getting a big one at home here to start off the 2025 season.
Yeah, I don't think the Mouthies have a chance here. So I'm going Colgate with a nice bounce back year.
Saturday, high noon. Richmond, a new entrant into the Patriot League, on the road at yours, at mine.
Not mine.
Lehigh Mountain Hawks, Dan. Who you got?
This is kind of the game of the season early on.
Spiders, Mountain Hawks.
But this is at Goodman Stadium.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. Yeah.
How's the weather right now?
Beautiful. Cool, crisp out this morning. The dogs are running about. My little pup tried to get through the fence. I'm not going to play the sound here, but
Right.
yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm gonna go the home team. Just a lot of energy happening in that Lehigh Valley.
I'm going to kill the music for a second. Lehigh Football's Twitter account, X account, was randomly suspended a couple months ago.
Okay.
And just a few days now before the game, it remains suspended. The biggest college football story that nobody's talking about. You hear it here on the Solid Verbal.
What do you have to do, anybody on that site, to get suspended now?
That's the question, right?
Yeah.
Nobody has told them why. The other Lehigh sports accounts are tweeting desperately because they can't get it unsuspended. So if anybody out there is listening who's got a little bit of pull, or if you're another podcaster or another media member, help me out. We're starting a movement here. We got to get this unsuspended. All right?
You definitely can't put enough turgid drum and fife on there to get suspended. So
somebody do something is what I'm saying. I'm bringing the music back up here.
Please. Next.
Saturday, 1 p.m., the Georgetown Hoyas away from Multisport Field.
Oh, man.
Traveling down to Davidson, Dan.
To Charlotte.
Davidson.
Steph Curry's Davidson.
That's right.
I think Georgetown is going to take a really, really successful offseason on the road with them and take it to Davidson here.
I'm going Davidson. Give me Davidson.
We disagree.
Saturday, 2 p.m. Fordham on the road at BC. Is this a real... Fordham against Boston College?
Dylan Lonergan's debut.
Woohoo! Spicy!
Boston College by 70.
I think Boston College is going to hammer them, yeah.
Yeah.
Bucknell at Air Force on CBS Sports Network, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. I got to go Air Force here, right?
Air Force large. My friend Jordan Kent is calling this game.
Okay.
So have fun at the Academy. Next.
And last but not least, it is Holy Cross on the road at NIU. I'm going Crusaders outright.
Crusaders outright.
Outright.
NIU by 80. Thomas Hammock is on it.
So look, if you're out there, if you've listened this whole way through, thank you for your support. Verballers.com is where you can go to get in on the game. We've had so many people trying to sign up for this game that the game has at times broken. Truly. So if you are one of those folks that want to support the Verbal, if you do sign up, if you do try to play in the game and you get a weird message, you can leave a comment. You can send me a message. We will make sure that you're set up in time because everybody wants in on this thing. That's what's going on with it, basically. It's just there's so much demand. But you get other perks if you sign up to support us. Again, verballers.com is where you can go to find out more. If nothing more, if you've made it this far, hit follow, hit subscribe. We're trying to get to that 25,000 number out on YouTube, which would be a big milestone number for us. Many have said, how haven't you gotten there already? We just started posting to YouTube like a year and a half ago.
Let's just build together, guys. Let's hear it is. Here's the sound. Let's just build this thing together. Support the show. Support Ty. If you want to support me too, that's cool. But, man, let's build.
I've got one final thing.
Okay.
Now my question to you is, how bad do you really want legs?
Good question.
We didn't play the Quad Father at all.
I do want legs. Where's the best quad this week?
Best quad this week's at noon. If you're one of those degenerates like Dan and I who like to watch a bunch of games at once, or at least like to dabble in watching a bunch of games at once until we lose our attention span, noon Eastern time, here's what you got. Texas against Ohio State, Syracuse versus Tennessee, Mississippi State, Southern Miss, Toledo, Kentucky, the games that I mentioned before. You can also sub in with Northwestern against Tulane, which could be interesting. Yeah. FAU, Maryland, which could be interesting, give you a chance to look at Malik Washington if he plays. And Ball State versus Purdue. A lot of new players in that one. You got options, is all I'm saying. If you want to be the Quad Father at your particular watch party, noon Eastern time is your best shot for it.
Are you eating anything good? Anything special on the menu?
I'm not sure I'll be able to keep food down on Sunday with that Miami Notre Dame game getting big in the window. I don't know. I haven't decided. I'd like to make it an event, but I'm going to be in front of this TV most of the time, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything too extraordinary. How about yourself?
I'll probably make pizza for the Sunday night. I'll probably have some sad dad meals on Saturday.
Okay.
Some weird room temperature noodles happening on Saturday.
Wherever you are out there, enjoy week one. Thank you for hanging with us. Hope to talk to you out on our Discord. If nothing more, hit us up on social media. You can find us at Solid Verbal. That's the handle across pretty much every account, Dan.
Yes.
Dude, it's here.
Oh, man.
No longer are we inventing episodes at the end of May. We now actually have games to talk about. I am thrilled. I am excited. I'm excited to do this ride again with you guys.
I no longer have to pretend to know what K-pop Demon Hunters is. Oh, it's great.
For that guy over there, my good friend Dan Rubenstein. For myself, Ty Hildenbrand, thanks for hanging with us all off season, for bearing with us through our week one preview episodes, and for hopping back on the horse with us here in the year of our Lord 2025. As always, you know the drill. Stay solid.
Peace.